Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take another look here at Solana, see what's going on, double check a few key factors. We got 215 and some change, kind of basically at this point where it's doing very well, broke through its resistance range, that 203 to what, 197, that little area there, this macro resistance, and likely to continue as a support if the price were to come back down to retest. All right. Good news is it did already retest. A lot of my community members were able to get in around the 200 to 205 range. Congrats on that. I was honestly out and about last night. I didn't have a chance to be able to get in or take a signal there, but again, good confirming factor there to be able to break through that resistance range. Now, as far as the overall sentiment here, let's take a look at the backend data, kind of see what's going on first, get perspective on where there might be heavier or lower concentrations of liquidation and what that might look like. In the meantime, help me out. Just hit the like button, comment below if you get a chance. Deeply appreciate you doing that at all times. Just helps us grow the channel, gets us moving in front of more people, so a lot of people will get less destroyed by these moon boys who are just telling you everything's going to go straight up. Which again, inevitably it does happen with some coins, right? Even a blind squirrel gets a nut, as they say. So let's take a quick look here. First of all, local liquidation levels, there's not a ton here kind of letting us know that we got like these massive concentrations, the price is going to break out or break down because of it. That's very little. That means very little here. What does mean something here is, of course, these longs from January 6th, we can see 223 to 226. And I misspoke, those are shorts rather. There are shorts heavy at 223 to 226 back from the 6th, roughly 10 days ago when the price started to come down. And what do you know, that their stop losses and or their liquidation events still have yet to pass. It basically implies that whoever took a short roughly 10 days ago is now almost out of profit, and they held on and were way too greedy, didn't secure profits down the 170, 180, or 190 range. That should be a lesson learned here, folks. Don't be that guy or girl, okay? It's just not recommended. Anyway, the whole point of this is just understanding 223 to 225 is probably going to be the next area of consideration, or more importantly, that's where the price will probably continue to. If we get this little push, just say Bitcoin holds 100,000, I think Solana will push towards that 220, 230 range, okay? So just know that that exists. Same thing here as well with liquidation delta. It's starting to stay consistent, which is a very good sign. We want that to be higher, basically implying that taking a long is much more viable than taking a short. And if you're shorting the market right now, you're just a complete buffoon. Again, I mean that very nicely too. There's nothing wrong with taking a short. In fact, some people are taking short signals with my my day trading bot, right? But that's a different story altogether. That's going to find smaller time frame confirmations that are designed to be held for a very short period of time, and you have to watch those closely. You don't just set it and forget it with a short position on Solana right now. That's just not what you do. Okay, so just please understand that. Anyways, we can see 203 is that heavy concentration. There's a very big a large amount of buy orders at 203, so people are heavy at 203 and 208 as that secondary, and again some late longs at 214. So that's helpful because it helps us understand that 203, right in the middle of this golden pocket, is that nice support range for us if the price were to pull back, right? That'd be a good consideration for a long right now at this exact moment. Take a look here, of course, at the daily time frame. This is where we're starting to break a bit more on the bullish side. I talked about this yesterday, saying that being above the 20 is a very good start, but we want to be over the 50 to have any concrete continuation potential. And we see this, we're tentatively above it. The daily candlestick hasn't closed yet, keep that in mind. But a closure over 210 today should imply further upside. And I'm pretty much saying the same thing with Bitcoin too. A closure above this 100,000 or 99.7 is going to be super important, super beneficial for us. Okay, that would confirm further upside. And again, to sweep that upper level liquidation, take a look at this here, folks. This is Bitcoin's liquidation range between 103 and 106, even just say 108. There is a massive amount of liquidation. You see each one of those red bars is about 6 to 7 billion. That's a lot of money. Okay, so a lot of people are going to have a bad day when the price continues higher up there, okay? Excuse me. Don't be one of those persons. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Solana's information here. Down below, we're going to look at their indicators. 50 on the RSI, we're good to go, we're above that. Awesome. Stochastic RSI is swinging up. Money flow index is trailing behind. But again, we have more volume now than we did before, so it's all good. Keep in mind the MFI is going to give us a false reading just based on how much selling pressure we saw here recently. That's still included. Once that starts to taper off and the buy volume continues higher, we're going to see that go up and basically reinforcing the sustainability at the current price point. Same thing as well with MACD, is converging as well. So there's a super strong amount of continuation and further upside potential here because of what we're seeing here so far. Okay, so the daily time frame is awesome. It went from mostly good to very good in the last 24 hours. Okay, same thing here as well. 4 hour time frame above all moving averages. We've got a small fair value gap that was mostly filled. So there's no real consideration for retracement. Unfortunately, my limit order at 197 that I was considering getting in there, or more so just an alert so I could reevaluate and see if I wanted to take a trade, it came down to like 198 and some change. So barely missed my consideration for entry there on Solana. And again, that's going to happen when you are a little bit more on the conservative side, right? I wanted to see that previous resistance retested. It didn't fully retest, and unfortunately missed an opportunity there. But hey, folks, I try to normalize that because it's so common. I mean, I probably said about 10 to 15 alerts in a day, and I would probably only say that maybe 1 or 2 tops are coins I'm actually able to take advantage of, just based on having a personal life and just generally speaking. It's you're gonna miss some opportunities, folks. You can never catch them all, right? So just please recognize that, and it's important to understand that everyone, regardless of who you are, is gonna miss those. Okay, so taking a look here, our side, we're kind of right here at 70, pretty much implying that we are due to continue further up. We take a look at T sequential. We are getting closer to an overextended state. While this is not a guarantee, there's this distinct probability that once we hit that overextension, the price will at least go sideways and potentially pull back. So we could do this here, range bound, a bit of a bullish rectangle and continue higher, or hypothetically the price does this here, and then we get a lucky entry at around the 203 to 204 range. Okay, I would love to get in at 203. While it's not a distinct probability at this point, if that were to happen with all this open interest here at 203 to 204, I think that would be a solid consideration for a long. All right, so that's the good news here. Is a 4 hour time frame is great. We're moderately overextended, so a pullback would seem sensible, but I wouldn't expect that to happen as of late. A lot of coins have been pumping further without pulling back to their recent highs. Okay, a lot of times you'll retest a recent high as a new low, and we haven't been seeing that. So again, for that, if that is your strategy, and I talked about this a lot yesterday, make sure that you average into your position. So maybe get some skin in the game now if you feel like it's going to break out, and then consider a secondary entry at the 203, 204 mark. So that way you average in roughly at 210, right? If that makes sense. But just make sure your first entry here at breakout, if you're trying to breakout trade, it should never be 100% position, because breakout trading is statistically less likely to be successful. So in turn, you should use less risk, right? Use less, essentially. So again, just some friendly advice for somebody who's been in the industry for over 20 years. I'm talking about trading industry, obviously not crypto, but I can tell you in the last 20 years of trading, I've seen some things, and it's never, I'm almost never surprised anymore. But that's actually a good thing in a way, because I don't respond emotionally to a lot of stuff. So I think that's very helpful and impactful. And in time, you'll develop that skill set too. I guess that's what I'm getting at. So everything here is fully bullish. There's no reason to take a short position. Likely to break out here, especially after retesting this local high here twice. Partial fill in the fair value gap. So I think the distinct probability of going up is higher than going down right now. Just note, we're traveling into a resistance range. Believe it or not, heavy concentrations of liquidation are actually resistances or supports, depending on the direction you're heading. So we may not just blaze right through that 225, but it's really common for us to see a candle wake up to that range. So if you're insisting on a short right now, set a limit order at 225. But again, I don't recommend that ever. It's purely an example of how to maybe consider using liquidation to your advantage. And in turn, you use low leverage in situations like that. But between now and then, what I'm getting at is that that 223, that local high, right, this most recent high, that's going to be a good place to consider taking profit. So take profit just below that range. That way you can walk away in the green. You have no idea how many people will set their limit orders at the exact level or a specific round number, to say 223 instead of 229.99, or sorry, 222.99, and you're going to get in line faster than the next person, right? So try to use just a slightly different numbers, and just no round numbers specifically, and you'll find better luck. Anyways, just some food for thought there. Either way, everything is truly bullish here. There's no reason to consider shorting this coin. Generally speaking, whenever I say that, the coins will pull back. So you got to recognize that going all in at this exact moment may not be advantageous, but I would recommend considering a partial entry now, partial entry at 204, maybe at 204 and some change, of course, and then possibly even 197 as a tertiary entry for consideration. So just some food for thought there. All right, I'll post our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. I'll update everything here, of course, so you can see a little more effectively. And I want to say thank you again for being an awesome part of my life. Like, subscribe, follow if you can. Of course, link down below too if you want to join us over at Bitunix. These guys are phenomenal. Excellent rewards this month. Next month's going to be a significant deposit bonus. Again, we actually, our community likes that the most, so we're going to continue to do those. All right, thanks again for your time. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.